Although still in their 20s, actors Ben Platt and Noah Galvin are already performing veterans. Both have played dozens of roles on TV, in films, and in live theater, including the Tony Award-winning musical Dear Evan Hansen. I met up with the couple at the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah, for their first television interview together. We spoke about their performances and the real-life inspiration behind their latest project as part of our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
I looked at him straight through his soul and said, "Bernard, you can keep the Connecticut home. I've got my dignity and a bold Merlot."
Precocious child actors.
Jazz pirouette, Grisabella, and down.
Broadway-obsessed instructors.
A little bit of Cinnamon, a little bit of Pain, a little bit of Stepfather.
And over-the-top acting exercises. All captured in Theater Camp, a 2020 short film poking fun at youth theater and its eccentric characters. Ben Platt and Noah Galvin starred in and co-wrote the parody with their friends Molly Gordon and Nick Lieberman. Last summer, the foursome turned Theater Camp into a feature-length film. Huge congratulations. I spoke with Platt and Galvin the day after their Sundance Film Festival premiere received a standing ovation. Let's start with the short. I'm really curious what made you think there's something here that we need to expand on.
Us and our two collaborators, Nick Lieberman and Molly Gordon, we've grown up together. Theater's kind of what connects us in a sense, and so when we mixed that with our shared comedic and improvisational sensibility, we were so surprised at how full of a story and how robust the short could feel with just the very small budget we had. And so we were like, if this can really come across so well, just imagine if we kind of gave it more space, gave it a longer narrative, and gave it, you know, perhaps 19 days instead of 2.
But 19 days?
Yeah, that's all we had.
That was it?
Days.
Yeah. What was that like?
And children who can only work about 5 hours a day, and a full musical at the very end, and like 32 speaking roles.
Yeah, we really didn't want to go too ambitious for our first piece.
Yeah, just very casual, small, intimate.
That ambition has paid off. The day after we spoke, the Theater Camp feature was acquired by Disney's Searchlight Pictures for distribution. It may have only taken 3 weeks to film, but the movie draws from years of experience. Before Ben Platt burst onto Broadway, winning a Best Actor Tony for Dear Evan Hansen in 2017, before recording 2 albums,
our generation is going to save this planet,
and starring in Netflix's The Politician, Platt fell in love with the stage at the Adderley School, a youth theater program in LA. And before Noah Galvin appeared on television and in films,
I will be directing.
Like 2019's critically acclaimed comedy Booksmart,
Here's a couple weeks.
Or as a series regular in ABC's The Good Doctor, he was acting professionally from the age of 10.
I went to a camp at one point, a theater camp, and it was called Kevin Kieran's. It was just the name of the man who ran it. It was wild. There were so many kids at this theater camp, then they wanted to give everybody an opportunity, which is beautiful. So they would cast, I did Anything Goes there, and there was a different person playing the principal character, like in each given scene, there was a different actor playing that part in every single scene. Yeah.
So you got one scene.
So I played Moonface Martin in the final scene of Anything Goes at Kevin Kieran's.
There's this line in the movie, and your character says, "This place is for people who need it, people who do not belong anywhere else." How much of that informs sort of who you're speaking to in this story?
That's entirely, I think, who we're making it for. Yeah. I think what we really wanted to be conscious of is telling a story that was, you know, funny and based on our own experience, but that had this bubbling of this thing that you've just said underneath it at all times, which is how vital these places had been for us growing up, and they are for young people, queer young people, you know, young people on the spectrum, all different kinds of young people who find ways to express themselves through theater.
Theater also brought the couple together. They met at a professional musical workshop out of high school. Friends for years, Platt and Galvin started dating just before the pandemic, and last November, the two announced a new relationship milestone. You are recently engaged.
We are.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. I did pretty good, I think.
Is there a story? Is there an engagement story you can share?
Well, we'll keep
you
some of the
wanna share?
details to ourselves, but I'll just say I surprised him and I told him I was taking him to dinner with his sister. And
It looked like the set of The Bachelor, is all I'll say.
and then, well, it was prettier
It was
colors.
gorgeous, it was gorgeous, it was gorgeous, it was gorgeous. I felt
And
like a
then
princess.
spent the night with our families having dinner and some friends, and it was great.
It was lovely.
There is hope. Finally,
Later this month, Ben Platt will return to Broadway for the first time in 5 years as the lead in a limited-run revival of the 90s musical Parade. It tells the true story of Leo Frank, a Jewish-American man who was lynched after being wrongfully accused of murder in Georgia in 1913.
What is it like for you to step into this role at this moment?
For me, it just feels like the right place at the right time, and I think I've learned a lot as I've grown older in my career to seek out characters and roles that I am the right person to take on and to tell. And then I think this, being a 29-year-old Jewish man, portraying this 29-year-old Jewish man who was wrongfully accused in the South, I think is, it just feels like an authentic piece of storytelling. There's just no pretense about it, that I can really feel like the right proprietor of this particular story.
I mean, we're speaking at a time, certainly, of rising anti-Semitism. We're also speaking at a time of rising anti-LGBTQ hate speech, political rhetoric, legislation across the country.
Oh, yes.
How does all of that resonate with you?
I mean, after seeing Parade, it was a piece that was written in the 90s by like a 24-year-old Jason Robert Brown, and I mean, it was like chilling how prescient it felt and how how current and necessary a piece of storytelling it was.
In terms of the queerness of it all, like even Noah and I, who are fairly privileged, and we live in, most of the time we live in a pretty liberal bubble, and we are protected in many ways. We've experienced moments of homophobia, and it's certainly everywhere. So I think all we can do, obviously we want to share our relationship because we love each other and we just want to share our happiness, but we also take a lot of pride, I think, in just showing public queer joy and a healthy queer relationship and collaboration.
So more joint projects ahead?
I think so.
Yeah, but we work well together. It was a nice thing to know,
That's a
We
good
didn't
thing
kill
to
each other.
discover.
Yeah, we got engaged after the
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay.
What a gift to do what you love with people you love. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Really
This was
appreciate
lovely.
it.
And we have more stories about the Sundance Film Festival online at pbs.org/newshour, including a look at 3 directors of Iranian descent whose films were inspired by their mothers.